A single encrypted message flashes across a dimly lit screen in a bunker deep beneath Kiev, reading, "Belarus moves at dawn. He's coming for you all." Your heart races, doesn't it? That's the jolt that changed everything in the Ukraine war, the Belarus Warning. If you're watching this, you're about to dive into a story that will grip your soul, make you question alliances, and leave you inspired by the unbreakable human spirit. Hit that like button if you're ready for the truth, and subscribe now so you never miss another tale from the front lines that the world needs to hear. Let's begin. In the frostbitten outskirts of Minsk, where the snow falls like silent accusations, lived a man named Viktor Kuznetsov. He wasn't a soldier, not in the traditional sense. Viktor was a mid-level analyst in the Belarusian Ministry of Defense, a quiet father of two who spent his days sifting through intelligence reports and his nights wondering if his choices would damn his family. His wife, Elena, a schoolteacher with eyes that held the warmth of forgotten summers, often whispered to him in the dark, "Viktor, the war next door isn't ours. Stay out of it." But wars have a way of seeping through borders like blood through bandages, and Viktor knew it all too well. The year was 2024, and the Ukraine war had dragged on for what felt like eternity. Russian forces pushed relentlessly, Ukrainian defenders held with grim determination, and the world watched from afar, numb to the headlines. Viktor had seen the maps, the troop movements, the whispers of escalation. Belarus, under the iron grip of its leader, had long been Russia's reluctant ally, providing bases and logistics but stopping short of full invasion. That changed one fateful night when Viktor intercepted a transmission meant for the highest echelons, orders for Belarusian troops to cross the border at dawn, flanking Ukrainian positions in a devastating pincer move. But there was more, a name, a pronoun that sent chills down his spine, him. It referred to none other than the shadowy architect of the war, the man whose decisions had already claimed hundreds of thousands of lives. Him was mobilizing personally, or so the intel suggested, to oversee the final push. Viktor's hands trembled as he stared at the screen. He thought of his children, Anna and Dmitry, asleep in their beds, dreaming of a world without sirens. He thought of the Ukrainian families just across the border, people like him, caught in the crossfire. In that moment, a spark ignited, a warning. He couldn't stop the war, but he could tip the scales. Risking everything, Viktor encrypted the message and sent it anonymously to a Ukrainian intelligence contact he'd cultivated in secret over months of quiet doubt. Belarus moves at dawn. He's coming for you all. It was simple, stark, and world-altering. Across the border in Kiev, Captain Natalia Petrova received the alert on her secure line. Natalia was a battle-hardened officer in the Ukrainian armed forces, her face etched with lines from too many lost comrades. She had joined the military after her brother was killed in the initial invasion, driven by a fire that burned brighter than any fear. Her team, a ragtag group of survivors, included young recruits like Alexander, a former student with a poet's soul, and Maria, a medic whose hands had saved more lives than she could count but couldn't erase the ghosts of those she couldn't. Natalia read the message twice, her pulse quickening. Belarus? And him? If true, this could be the endgame, the point where the war tipped into oblivion or, perhaps, redemption. The hook had landed, and the world didn't know it yet. As the sun crept over the horizon, Belarusian tanks rumbled to life, their engines a low growl echoing through the forests. But thanks to Viktor's warning, Ukrainian forces were ready. Natalia mobilized her unit to the northern front, where the Belarusian border loomed like a predator. They dug in, fortifying positions with whatever they had, barbed wire, anti-tank mines, and sheer willpower. The first challenge came swiftly. Intelligence confirmed him was indeed involved, directing from a command center just inside Russian territory, his presence a morale booster for the invaders and a terror for the defenders. Back in Minsk, Viktor's world unraveled. Elena noticed his pallor at breakfast, the way he avoided her gaze. "What's wrong?" she asked, her voice a fragile thread. He couldn't tell her, not yet. But as reports of the failed Belarusian advance trickled in, suspicion fell on him. Interrogators from the security services hauled him in, their questions sharp as bayonets. "Who did you contact?" "Traitor." Viktor endured the beatings, the isolation, clinging to the image of his children. His resolve cracked but didn't break. He knew his warning had bought time, lives. On the Ukrainian side, the battle erupted with ferocious intensity. Belarusian forces, expecting a soft flank, met a wall of resistance. Natalia's unit held the line at a key river crossing, where Alexander's quick thinking with a drone strike disabled an enemy column. But the cost was high. Maria lost a close friend in the crossfire, her screams echoing over the radio as she tried to staunch the bleeding. Natalia herself faced a personal abyss when a shell exploded nearby, burying her in debris. As she clawed her way out, flashbacks assaulted her, her brother's funeral, the empty chair at family dinners. "Why fight?" a voice in her head whispered. But then she saw Alexander, bloodied but standing, reciting a poem under his breath to steady his nerves. "In the shadow of giants, we rise like dawn." The plot thickened as the warning's ripple effect spread. International allies, alerted by Ukraine's frantic diplomacy, ramped up aid, drones from Poland, artillery from the US, intelligence from Britain. Sensing the shift, doubled down, ordering airstrikes that lit the night sky like hellfire. In a pivotal moment, Viktor escaped custody with help from sympathetic colleagues, fleeing toward the border with Elena and the children in tow. Their journey was a gauntlet of checkpoints and betrayals, Elena's fear turning to fierce protectiveness as she shielded Anna from gunfire during a narrow escape. Meanwhile, Natalia grappled with doubt. A captured Belarusian soldier revealed the human cost on the other side, conscripts forced into battle, families threatened. It humanized the enemy, blurring lines Natalia had drawn in blood. Her challenge: forgive enough to seek peace, not just victory. In a tense negotiation facilitated by back channels, she met a Belarusian defector who confirmed Viktor's role. "One man's warning changed everything," he said. Inspired, Natalia pushed for a counteroffensive, not just to repel but to expose him's vulnerabilities. As the story builds, let's pause. If this tale of courage amid chaos is hitting home, smash that like button and subscribe for more stories that uncover the heroes behind the headlines. Your support keeps these narratives alive. Viktor's family crossed into Ukraine under cover of night, guided by underground networks. Exhausted, they arrived at a refugee camp where Natalia, by fate or coincidence, was overseeing security. Their eyes met, Viktor, the quiet analyst, Natalia, the warrior. In broken conversations, they shared their burdens. Viktor confessed his fears: "I betrayed my country to save my soul." Natalia replied, "You saved ours." That's no betrayal, that's humanity. Elena bonded with Maria over shared maternal worries, while the children played with Alexander, who taught them Ukrainian folk songs to drown out the distant booms. The climax loomed as launched a desperate assault, aiming to crush the northern front. Belarusian forces, demoralized by defections, faltered. Viktor's intel, now fully decoded, revealed weak points in the supply lines. Natalia's unit struck hard, severing reinforcements. In the chaos, Alexander faced his greatest test. Trapped in a sniper's nest, he chose mercy over a kill, sparing a young Belarusian soldier who surrendered, weeping. This act rippled, leading to mass defections. But resolution came at a price. Maria was wounded saving a child from shrapnel, her recovery uncertain. Viktor learned his home in Minsk was raided, his old life erased. Yet, in the hospital tent, as Elena held his hand, he found peace. "We start anew," she said. Natalia, promoted for her leadership, addressed her troops. "This warning didn't just change the war, it changed us. We fight not for land, but for lives." The war didn't end that day. The Ukraine conflict raged on, but the Belarus warning shifted momentum. International pressure mounted on him, exposing cracks in alliances. Belarus teetered toward neutrality, inspired by Viktor's quiet rebellion. Families reunited, scars healed slowly, and hope flickered like a candle in the wind. Years later, in a rebuilt Kiev, Viktor and Natalia met again at a memorial. Alexander had become a writer, chronicling the tales, Maria, a healer advocating for peace. The children, now grown, carried the legacy. One voice can echo through eternity, Viktor said. And that's the inspiring message: in the face of overwhelming darkness, a single act of courage can change everything. Stand up, speak out, and remember, humanity prevails. If this story moved you, like and subscribe to join the community fighting for truth. Share it with someone who needs inspiration today. Thanks for watching.